I hated this game before I played it. I'm not really a fan of Halloween or spooky stuff in general. And seeing gameplay of this game in videos on YouTube or Twitch, it always kind of looked dark and drab to me. This just isn't what I'm used to when it comes to Mario games. Mario games do a really good job of making sure their games are flashy and bright and vibrant. This is one of the most common themes between Mario games. They're always light and relatively pleasant. Even areas that are meant to be a bit darker in tone and feel still have a relatively light palette, and they never comprise the entire game. So when I see Luigi's Mansion, my mind rejects what is being presented as a Mario Brothers title. However, Luigi's Mansion 3 is on the horizon, and with Nintendo's incessant marketing of this game, to me, I felt strange going into it, never having played its predecessors. So I gave it a shot. I bought a legacy copy, and I started playing it. Within minutes, I could see the game's charm. Sure, the controls are a little wonky, but they do offer a training room so you can get used to them, which is something that is lost in a lot of new games. The supporting characters are probably one of the better parts of this game. Toad is his usual self, where he's somehow even more terrified of everything than Luigi, but still finds himself in these dangerous situations and offers useful advice and assistance. When it comes to Toad in pretty much every game, you're always wondering, how the heck did you even get here? This game is no different. Professor Egad. This is a refreshing new character. I'll go ahead and say it now. This guy should be utilized in other titles. The fact that he was nowhere to be found in Mario Odyssey or in Mario Kart 8 is a crime against humanity. Egad provides you with the tech you need to handle the ghosts throughout the game. And he kind of serves as an oracle to Luigi throughout his journey in the mansion. He's also kind of the reason a lot of this is happening. That part wasn't very clear to me. In particular, his connection to the boos that he either had in captivity or knew about them being in captivity, but the mansion just appeared, so how does he actually know about their situation? I don't know. He might know a little more than he's letting on. The named ghosts that you encounter, many of them being sort of a boss ghost that spike the game's difficulty, offers some anecdotal entertainment. But the game doesn't dive too deep on the backstories of these characters. This is a plus, as that could get a little boring for a Mario Brothers game. Your antagonists are primarily these ghosts and boos, which have infinitely more character than they've ever had before. Whenever you encountered a new one, they would always have some sort of pun about being a boo to offer you, which always seemed to hit me right in the giggle box. Luigi himself actually has a lot of complex dialogue, and even appreciates art throughout the game. Seeing his thoughts or inner monologue as he used the Game Boy Horror to search for clues is actually kind of jarring, as it's the most he's ever said in a game up to this point. And quite frankly, he seems much more intelligible than his brother. The central concepts of the game are at times a little frightening and darker than I expected. I mean, sure, it's meant to be a Nintendo horror game. It's never gonna be that dark. But one example was the very first boss being an actual dead baby who pulls you into a ghost world and tries to kill you with his toys. Then there's the first time you find Mario, who is trapped in a painting in the basement of the mansion. This doesn't sound all that bad until you see him. The shock of seeing him trapped, literally screaming in fear, was extremely jarring. And it triggered my claustrophobia a little bit. The screaming actually echoes out of the well into the backyard of the mansion as a chilling reminder of the major task at hand. Oh my god, I can actually hear Mario screaming. Not to mention, at one point, the entire mansion loses power, and you have to travel from room to room with many more ghosts chasing you every time you open a door to a previously cleared room. Staying in there can get you killed in a matter of seconds, as they try to overwhelm you. A lot of the themes genuinely added some layers of fear to the game, even if it was a bit shallow. Now, as good as this game was, it's not without many faults. There are many times you are left wandering through a nearly silent mansion, listening only to Luigi's humming of the game's main theme. This would be a spooky effect, however, this only seems to happen when you're in an area that's already been cleared. So there's no threat of danger to make it spooky. It's just kind of boring. As soon as there's ghosts around, the spooky music actually kicks back up. Maybe it would have been better if they had reversed that. Additionally, most of the game is very easy to complete. I'd say, blind, this game can probably be done in about 7 or 8 hours. There is a dungeon crawler feel to the game, where you're traveling from room to room, getting clues, catching ghosts, and getting keys to get to the next part of the mansion. But because these tasks are really easy and fairly repetitive, it starts to come off as tedious at times. Every once in a while, the difficulty would spike well beyond anything else you'd come across, like the 3 versus 1 soldier ghost battle or the 15 boos on the balcony. This fight was particularly frustrating. But beyond 4 or so specific instances, the game does not offer much in the way of challenge. Also, the world of the game is rather small, as the game nearly entirely takes place in a mansion, as the name implies, but with low ceilings and all very similar room decoration, save for a few interesting areas such as the Astral Room or the Frozen Room. Those might not be the actual names. Maybe 1 or 2 other rooms. The combat, if you really want to call it that, doesn't offer much variance. I found out that you can theoretically capture any ghost in 1 shot, but it doesn't seem to affect much more than how much money you get, and it made it a little less frustrating. Additionally, you earn a lot of treasure and money throughout the game, several types of currency in fact, but all of it only amounts to how large the house is that you get at the end of the game, which can't be explored. It's just a picture. Lastly, the most irritating part of the game is catching the boos. You actually need to catch a certain amount of them to progress the game, and they ran away from me a lot. They will go through a wall back and forth repeatedly from room to room where you cannot follow them. This forces you to make your way around to the room that they went to, and sometimes they will even run into a room that you haven't actually gotten a key for yet. This was absolutely maddening. They offer no other challenge other than running away from you. Sometimes this required bouncing back and forth through 3 or 4 large rooms to catch 1 out of 50 total boos, excluding King Boo. I understand that this was meant to be kind of an annoyance, but the charm wears off fairly quickly. All in all, this game does a great job of exploring the mythos of the boos and the spooky side of the Mario Bros. World, even introducing King Boo for the first time if I'm not mistaken. This game is unique in that it doesn't feel like a full Mario Bros. Game at first, and feels rather confined, but the world of the game is found in the details as it unravels. Also, the tones and themes used are much darker than the regular entries in the series, yet this seems to somehow fit perfectly in the collection of Mario games. I also don't feel that it really has much replay value, as frantically collecting money and looking for treasure in every nook and cranny of the mansion just to get a picture of a different mansion after the credits of the game doesn't feel very rewarding. But I am glad that I took the time to experience this tedious yet charming masterpiece before playing Luigi's Mansion 3. What's up, Turtle Kingdom? Thank you for making it through to the end. We're going to be more active on this platform. This is our 3rd time recommitting to being active here, and we're going to keep up with it. If you like this new format, please be sure and let me know in the comments. I figured this was a little less lazy than uploading hours of unedited footage. So whenever we play a single player game, we'll try to make something interesting out of it, whether it's just like a review video or, something a little more creative than that. Whenever we play through it on Twitch, we'll probably upload it that way. Currently, we're playing through Luigi's Mansion 3 live on Twitch. If you guys want to come be a part of that process, be sure to come over there, twitch.tv/SolaceandDread. And you can follow us on Twitter so you can keep up with what we're doing every day, every week. Best way to keep in touch. Oh, before I forget, this is our new office, the new setup, our collection of amiibos back here. We're going to make a video going in depth of everything in this room as well as the PC, just so you guys can get an idea of what we're working with and get a little bit of behind the scenes of what we do when we create content. We worked really hard on this and we kind of want to show it off. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Long live the Turtle Kingdom.